Hello, people of the internet. Daniel here yet again, and we have Nick on the other side. Um, I'll talk about the movie news the past fortnight, like we usually do. Um, so we should start things off with potentially more Harry Potter movies could be on the way. What? It's crazy.
What wow, this is news to me. What is happening? When did this get announced?
Apparently, I've got an article here from Daily News, and they are reporting that Warner Brothers is interested in developing a Harry Potter and the Cursed Child movie to the silver screen as soon as 2020. Yeah, I'm not quite sure that date's going to really work out. But apparently they're very interested in getting Daniel Radcliffe back. Um, and yeah, Nick, obviously
And
your
yeah,
face is telling everything, like your reaction to this.
I was worried this would happen. See, it would be okay, but if the cursed child was good, but everything I've heard is not good. Like,
Well,
why?
they could probably just take the concept of it, maybe.
Yeah, maybe,
From
but
what I'm
that's what I.
hearing, this could be
What's that?
split into a new trilogy of Harry Potter films.
Well, they could take the concept of the title and make it into a decent film or film trilogy, but
It's Warner Brothers. They make everything trilogies.
yeah, I know, but just leave it. Leave Harry alone. He was happy at the end of Deathly Hallows. Just leave him alone, and his kids. Leave his kids too. And just really, oh my gosh, just please, please. This is like Toy Story 4 all over again. I don't want this to happen. Um, what else? I just, I'm too stunned.
I'm a bit iffy on the date when I say as soon as 2020. I don't think that's going to really be met unless Fantastic
No, of
Beasts
course not.
and Where to Find Them isn't as successful as Warner Bros. Wants it to be, because they've got Fantastic Beasts
I'm happy with
in
Fantastic Beasts. I think that's a good way to continue if they're going to continue at all, Fantastic Beasts and spin-offs like Fantastic Beasts, that's a good way to go. But I don't want any more stories involving Harry and his kids. I'm sorry. And I didn't even want the Cursed Child book / play. So I definitely don't want the movie. And I just really they just gotta stop. It's so frustrating. Just stop Warner Brothers. You've got Batman.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
Batman. They have a DC universe that isn't really doing much quality-wise so far.
Yeah.
But look, this is going to happen eventually. Like, I just feel like, is it too soon to do a Harry Potter movie where he's in his 40s? I think it's too soon because Dan Radcliffe is in his late 20s. Can we wait 15 years for this movie to come? Like, he wants to distance himself from Harry Potter. Can we, I don't know, like, just because Star Wars The Force Awakens is 30 years
Mm,
after the
mm.
original movies, can we wait 15 years for Dan Radcliffe to
No, no, Hollywood doesn't work like that. Hollywood has an idea and it's like, oh, we've got a slot to fill. We have to fill it. And I'm really actually, well, we've got a whole show, but I think that there's been a story going around these last couple of days about the death of Hollywood or whatever. It goes around every year or whatever, because of the box office performance over this summer. And it's just like so frustrating because I want there to be movies forever, But at the same time, I kind of want some of those stories to come true just a little bit, just enough that it wakes studios up into making quality films again. Because sometimes these giant blockbusters are just there for the sake of being there to make money and not actually to tell a good film. And some of the biggest movies of this year have flopped because they've been terrible, not because people don't want to see movies, because they've been terrible. And things like greenlighting Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is just going to be another, well, it's probably going to be successful, but it's just another filling of a big summer blockbuster tentpole slot in their calendar. And I really want that to end. Like one movie, one big tentpole per year per studio. Like that would be much better than this overload that we're getting at the moment.
Wow. Disney's gone. Then they can't do one tentpole a year. You're crazy.
No, I know. No, I know, but it's getting a bit sick.
What does Marvel Studios? What Marvel film we released? Civil War or Doctor Strange? But you can only pick one.
Okay, Disney's excluded because I like Disney's films. No, I don't know. No, well, Disney does have a pretty good model, though. It's making movies that are making money because they're quality films, whereas Warner Brothers, you know, as much as you are in the minority for Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman could have done more if it was a good film, right? So
could have made the $1 billion
yeah.
quite easily.
Yeah. Even films like Ice Age have had diminishing returns because they've gotten worse and worse and worse. And quality, I keep going on year after year on this show. I always say quality is what makes your money, not franchises. Quality. If you get good word of mouth, you can make way more money than if you put number 2 on the end of the movie, I think.
Yeah, I would say also, at least for the summer, quality and oversaturation. I think it's been like Star Trek Beyond has just crossed $150 million domestically, but that is such a great Star Trek movie, and I think it's just because it's been lost.
Yeah, it deserves more.
Yeah,
Anyway, I'm getting off track now, but just
we are speaking about the summer box office later in the show, so we might just
good. Okay, right, I'll come back to it.
But yeah, back to more Harry Potter films. So we could be getting Harry Potter 8. No, hang on, Harry Potter 9, 10, and 11.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just too soon right now. Just focus on Fantastic Beasts. Focus on any more spin-offs. Like, you know, give me a Dobby spin-off. Give me a Quidditch movie.
Or a founding of Hogwarts story or something.
Yeah. Give me a Snape, young Snape movie. Why not? Because they're doing young Han Solo for Star Wars. Just give me all that. And come back to Harry Potter in like 15 years' time.
I give them credit. It is a world. It is a universe like Star Wars, right? That they can build in. Right. But they just need to branch out like Star Wars is doing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the only problem, I guess, with that is that Disney has the main episode saga with the spin-offs, while Warner Brothers only has the spin-offs to go with now because the Harry Potter film franchise so far has ended.
Yeah, but that's really a complete story, though. I just don't think they could do I just don't think they can continue satisfyingly Harry's story because it finished so satisfyingly. As I said, it's like Toy Story 3. It finished so satisfyingly. You don't want another one.
Yeah,
spin-off. Yeah.
It's like Toy Story 3. You have the ending you're satisfied with. Do not give me any more. I don't really want it. But hey, you know what? Harry Potter Temple Hallows Part 2 made $1 billion. So, like all billion-dollar films, it's going to happen eventually, I think.
Yeah, that's a sad thing. That's what I'm over.
Okay. Yeah, that's all we've got for Harry Potter. DC may be making a Justice League Dark movie, and they're going to retitle it as Dark Universe. And while Warner Brothers hasn't officially revealed this film, it's just been word around, you know, sources and all that. Most people are reporting on this, including Variety, that Warner Bros. DC are developing a Dark Universe movie, and apparently Doug Liman, director of Edge of Tomorrow, is directing the film.
So it's just a movie.
Yeah, whether or not it's in the DCEU, I'm not quite sure.
It will be shortly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's apparently it's working. So, what do you think of a Dark Universe? I like the title, actually. I like the title better than the comic book title. So I'm glad they're renaming it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I want to love DC more. I still haven't yet to see Suicide Squad. Last thing I saw of DC was Batman vs Superman, which
Suicide Squad's better.
Suicide Squad's better, apparently.
Suicide Squad like a masterpiece compared to Batman vs Superman.
You heard it here first. 10 years from now, people will look back and be like, "This is the point. This is the turning point. DC's success story began." I want, as I said, I want to really love DC. So if Suicide Squad I love, yep, good. But I only want to love Wonder Woman as well, and all the stuff that DC brings out. I want to love them as much as I love Marvel. And you know, I hope that this dark universe thing is a step in the right direction, because it sounds like it is, and it almost sounds like they're taking a bit more risk with it. And risks are good when you want to build trust with your audience. You know, it means that they're willing to take risks to try something different to, you know, appeal to their growing audience. So that's
yeah, I can see DC, I think, is taking the most risks. They're trying everything they can to try. They're basically trying everything to try not to be a copycat of the Marvel formula, basically.
Yeah. That's the problem, isn't it? They could completely mimic the Marvel formula and possibly be successful, but I mean, no one likes a copycat, and this is I think
they just
a way of differentiating themselves.
They need to find their own formula. They just need to find their own style. And right now, we've got things that don't work, things that have, yeah, it's working a bit, but it could be some more improvements for other future films. So I feel like they're eventually finding themselves at the moment among these superhero universe franchises. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, they got a good director, Doug Liman.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether or not he's still directing Gambit for Fox is another thing.
Oh gosh. Let's not go there.
Because I think they've already lost the director before, so
yeah.
Whether or not this movie's actually coming, I'm not quite sure now. Angry Birds 2 is coming, because, you know, why not? We'll be talking about Angry Birds' box office performance this past summer, but it did pretty well for them. So
yeah, well, I mean, it's designed. That movie, I never saw it, but it looked designed to start a franchise, so I'm hardly surprised.
The way it ends is basically setting up for another one. Although I don't know how they're going to, I guess, make it seem more, I guess, original and fresh, because you've already done what you've done in the mobile games about the slingshot. How do you use, like, if you use it again, it's just repetitive. It's basically the same thing again. So I don't know how they're going to do that, but it'll be interesting to see, for sure. Someone who's seen the first movie, it'll be interesting. Sure, because why not? Because I've seen every other animated movie this year.
Wow. I'm impressed. I've seen one.
What? One? I thought you saw Zootopia.
2. I've seen 2. Forgot Zootopia. Wow, that was this year? God, that seems ages ago.
Next is James and the Giant Peach is getting a remake at Disney. And apparently Sam Mendes, director of Skyfall, is in talks with Disney at the moment.
It wouldn't be an episode of Talking Film without Disney announcing a new live-action remake. So, no, I did hear about this. So I think it's kind of, you know, same old story. Good. The thing about this is we always go on about Disney, stop it with the live-action remakes, but they've all been pretty good. Like, they really have all been pretty good so far. So it's not, except for Alice in Wonderland and specifically the sequel, let's not count those. But in general, Pete's Dragon was the last one, and, well, in my opinion, that counts. Pete's Dragon was the last one, and it was, as so I've heard, incredible. Have you seen it? You've seen it yet?
No. Although me and Dan saw a 15-minute preview, which basically gives you the whole film in front of Kubo. So I had to close my eyes after like the first 5 minutes, because I'm like, this is never ending.
Right. Is that out in Australia yet?
It comes out in 2 weeks, I think.
Wow, that's really late. Oh, okay. It's already out here in Italy, and that never happens.
School holidays. That's why we've got it so late. School holidays for us, so.
Anyway.
But yeah, from what I heard, this is going to be like a live-action, potentially CGI hybrid compared to the first movie, which was a live-action claymation hybrid. Although I would assume this one would be more like the main character wouldn't be stop motion. Like, I would assume it'd be like the BFG. You'll have a human protagonist amongst all these characters that are CGI.
Yeah, so it'll be CGI plus live action. Okay, so basically Jungle Book.
Yeah, that too. He's got a lot of films. He's just got one human character, and everything's like. But yeah, and we might as well just end it because this hasn't been that good of a fortnight for movie news. Cops the TV show is going to be turned into a movie. Yeah, you know, the reality TV show Cops. That's going to be a feature film.
No, I don't know, but good for Cops. Yay!
Apparently from the source I got it from Deadline, apparently it's going to be a buddy comedy cop movie with an edgy narrative. And I basically started thinking,
edgy.
So
it's got the right words.
Does this have to be adapted from the reality TV show? Can this just be its own thing called Cops? Like this seems more original to me than
no.
Adapted from.
That's not how movies work. Movies always have to be based off something because otherwise, there's no inbuilt audience.
That's true. Apparently, build an audience for Cops then.
Oh, there is. Apparently, it's massive. It's this underground cult hit.
It could have I don't know. It could have just been an original movie. It could have been called Bad Cops.
Yeah, I know, right? But this leads into. Hopefully, somehow I can tie this into what we're about to talk about because it's very pressing at the moment.
Yeah, so let's talk about things that would be depressing but also cool. The summer movie box office.
See, I don't think it's all out depressing, though.
A little bit, but
a little bit.
I thought we could talk about, since basically the summer box office is basically finished in America, we could talk about all the money it has made in America.
Yeah.
From maybe the top 20, we'll get our own opinions on what we think about its performance so far in America. So at number 1, I think it's no surprise that Finding Dory is the highest grossing movie of the past summer, grossing so far $480 million. And I'm getting my sources from Box Office Mojo, so they're pretty legit.
If you'd told me like at the beginning of the year that Finding Dory would be the highest grossing film of the year in America, which might not yet be, but at the moment it is, probably will be. I don't know. Star Wars is pretty much the only competitor as far as I'm concerned, or unless Moana is a breakout hit. And I think this is no surprise. I thought it would always make so much money, a lot of money, but I think that Pixar has to be happy with the performance in America of this sequel. Yeah, well, that one's definitely not a disappointment. That's a success, but I still wonder what that means for the future of Pixar. Really, that's the question that this raises. Is it going to be more sequels now because this is such a big success, or is it they're going to stick to their guns and do what they feel is right?
You got so many sequels. You got Cars 3 next year.
I know.
Toy Story 4. You got Incredibles 2. What else is next?
Yeah.
I don't really want to say Ratatouille 2 because that probably will happen in the next couple of years. So
we've probably said every single one by this point, so we've jinxed them all already.
But yeah, Finding Dory, it was obviously going to be the biggest hit of the summer. I think you've got a movie that is such beloved like Toy Story, and it has about the same year gap. I think it was a 13-year gap compared to Toy Story 3's 11-year gap. So you have a gap where you've got the older fans who grew up with the film, and you got the new ones who obviously maybe parents at this stage who want to take to their kids to see the film. So you have all these different generations watching the film, and I feel like that's obviously what contributed to Finding Dory's success, like Toy Story 3. So I knew this was going to happen, but getting me $500 million though, I was maybe a little bit shocked that it was that much, but it's done very well though. And to be the highest grossing animated film in America over Shrek 2 now is quite an achievement. Next we got Captain America Civil War, which is another Disney movie. That has made so far $407 million.
Yep. This is pretty much the same story as Dory for me. It's successful franchise, successful movie.
Do you think that it should have maybe been a bit higher, close to Age of Ultron's number with 456?
This is different. That's a good point, because unlike Dory, this could be seen as a bit of a disappointment, couldn't it? Because it's the second highest grossing movie of the year, but it's still not as high as Marvel's been before. So especially with the cast that it had and
Yeah,
hype.
I guess if you can see, maybe it could be disappointing. But then again, Thor and the Hulk aren't in it, so you got most of the Avengers in it, which is pretty close to what Age of Ultron made in its final run. So it's not as bad, and it had Captain America on the title as well, not Avengers. So
True. So I think as a
like,
Captain America film, it's a success, right? As a
yeah,
Captain America film, it's a success. But if it was an Avengers film, it would be a little bit of a disappointment.
yeah. Well,
So
Winter Soldier made 260 million, so it's a
yeah,
massive increase.
I mean, yeah. So I don't think that Disney can be disappointed. Like,
Surely not.
they're
It's
not
the highest grossing
disappointed.
movie
It's success. So a success. We'll call Captain America a success. Cool.
Yeah. Secret Life of Pets is number 3. $355 million has made so far.
Wow, that's a surprise. Like, I know that there was probably a lot of, it looked tailor-made for kids and families to go and have some fun in the cinema. But wow, actually, I really kind of wanted to see this. I'm a bit disappointed I missed it. Secret Life of Pets.
I haven't yet.
You haven't?
It comes out Australia this week, so.
Oh my gosh, it's so late. Wow. Yeah, anyway, no, but I definitely missed it. And I think I missed it, maybe. I'll double check that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just a classic case of, just family-friendly movie, just going well beyond its means and just taking off through the sky and breaking through like 5 different barriers. Basically, it's the Minions. It's the same kind of phenomenon as Despicable Me and cats and dogs that can talk. Oh my god!
I was actually quite surprised this movie made much of this. It's currently.
I know. I'm surprised too.
It's currently in between Despicable Me 2, which grossed $368 million in America, and Minions, which grossed $336 million.
Wow.
It made more than Minions.
So when you take it as a domestic gross, that's way more fascinating than you take the international gross, because they're so different this year, aren't they? The international grosses and domestic grosses seem so different.
Yeah, well, it's still
I think
Australia, so it's already at 740 million. So
yeah, well, I think Illumination.
The way it's going.
Yeah, Illumination has to be happy with that. I'm sure.
I'm sure they're extremely happy in that. And we got Secret Life too.
That's definitely a thumbs up. Yeah, success.
Suicide Squad is number 4 at the moment with $289 million
and rising.
And rising, of course. It's gonna break 300 million domestically, for sure.
Mm.
But
surprisingly, I would say.
Go on.
Surprisingly, I would say this is a success, which I would not have predicted when the reviews came out. But I'd say that Warner Brothers has to be happy with Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm. I think they're very happy with it. I think they probably wish if it was received more positive, it probably would have made more than what it has. Again, Batman v Superman, but like the movie wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. I wanted to give it an A+. I really did. I really wanted to fall in love with this movie, but I only ended up liking it. But like, I'm sure Warner Bros. Considered success. If it's grossed $300 million, that's more than Man of Steel made.
A financial success, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to make more than Man of Steel domestically, which is you got Superman, and
So,
the way it's going to end, it's going to be very close to Batman v Superman's $324 million. So it's it's getting very close to it. Without Batman and Superman, it's pretty successful.
Yeah.
X-Men Apocalypse is number 5 for the year, $155.4 million.
Wow, we've got a steep drop now, haven't we?
Yeah,
that's a big gap between number 4 and 5.
Most times, some movies you get like heaps of movies that made over $200 million.
Yeah, I know. So this is where the story starts, isn't it? This is where all these articles will be like, end of movies. I don't know. See, Apocalypse I never saw, but I've heard that it's a bit of a disappointment, that gross for Fox, especially after the success that was Days of Future Past, and worldwide, they're also, I don't think they've actually made as much as they were hoping. So, this is kind of in the middle. This is kind of not a flop and not a complete runaway success either. So it's kind of so for Fox, but luckily they don't have to cry too much because they had Deadpool. So
Yeah, and the way it's going, when you include global grosses, not Warner Bros. Fox has made a profit off this movie, but I guess it depends where the X-Men brain goes from here.
yeah, that's the question, and I think it's more Deadpool, maybe less multicast X-Men, like full ensemble cast, maybe more
Or just
spin-offs.
rebooting it completely, because I've been hearing
Oh,
new movies coming for sure. So.
a bit too soon for that, I think. Bit too soon.
Well, I want more adventures of the young Jean Grey and Scott. So I really like the new cast, and they only introduced an Apocalypse. So I don't want them to be rebooted again. So
Yeah, of course.
I really like those two. Star Trek Beyond is number 6, $152 million.
Well, the good news is this will. Yeah, the good news is this is probably going to overtake X-Men, right?
Probably it's still in theaters, but it hasn't. It's pretty much on its way out now. So who knows?
Yeah.
It could just do it, or it could just miss it. But it's the only Star Trek movie in America to not make $200 million.
Ouch! Especially since it was such a pleasant surprise that it was so good too. And it's one of the few movies I've actually seen this summer.
It's a real
yeah. So yeah, no, oh well. This is depressing. Now it's getting depressing. You were right. Anyway,
talk about more depressing. With Jason Bourne at number 7 with also $152 million. And
wow.
Quite shocked about that gross there.
Yeah.
With Matt Damon.
Well. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and
it's still successful. I'm pretty sure it's the second highest Jason Bourne film. No, it is the third highest domestically. It's behind Ultimatum, which had 227 million, and Supremacy, surprisingly, 176 million made in America.
Yeah, but that came out 10 years ago.
I know, right? This should have at least potentially hit 300 million with Matt Damon.
Yeah, that's such a disappointment. Something's gone wrong with the marketing or the interest in that movie.
I did like the movie, but it's definitely the weakest of the Damon movies for sure. And not just the formula. Like I still like the formula. It just the story wasn't as strong compared to the other three. So it felt like what we keep talking about, like Toy Story 4 and more Harry Potter films. It felt like that we didn't really need this film. It just happened. Like it now just exists. You know, it doesn't do much with the other 3 Bourne films. It just exists as its own thing.
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of the whole argument, isn't it? It's like, is this a sign of end times or?
Well, speaking about end times, this is obviously shouldn't be an end time because number 8 is Central Intelligence, $127 million made in America.
So that's a success. So it's all relative, isn't it?
Yes. I'm surprised I haven't heard Central Intelligence 2 by now.
Yeah, that should be a thing. Yeah, no, wow, that's interesting. Of course, there's generally every year there's a sleeper hit or something, and I think this is definitely the sleeper hit. I mean, people have argued between this and Bad Mums, but one of those.
Yeah, we're obviously not. We're running out of time, so we're not going to cover Bad Mums. But Bad Mums is at number 14, and it's just about to break $100 million. Which, yes, it's an original film, but for a movie studio that isn't one of the major ones, is also very impressive.
Yeah. No, this is good. This is a good sign. But this is what I mean. This is the future. I think movies like Central Intelligence and Bad Mums and lower budget tentpoles are the future, like Deadpool. Like that was low budget and it was fantastic, right? So I think they've got to bring down the budgets of these big movies. The grosses hopefully will keep increasing, but just bring down the budget just a little bit. Restricting the budget will also restrict the creativity. Like it will influence. It will give the creativity more opportunity to blossom of the movies, because when you've got more restrictions, you actually have to be more creative to work around those restrictions. So I think they make the quality better. So the key here, the problem is for both studios and critics and everything that's making movies go wrong, it's the high budgets of these movies. They're not making back their money, and it's also making them just appear bloated and too much of a CGI fest in most cases. So movies like Central Intelligence that rely on comedy or, you know, the actors to bring in the gross rather than CGI or whatever, that's the future. That's where success lies.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And just to wrap up the top 10, number 9 is The Legend of Tarzan, 125 million, and same with Ghostbusters, which is at number 10 with also 125.
Yeah, well, I'd say they're probably middling. I think Ghostbusters is a little bit of disappointment there. But Legend of Tarzan is actually much higher than you would have thought, even if it might not.
Definitely, but the budget is like $180 million.
Yeah,
that was a lowered budget. That could have been a really big success. I'm pretty sure it's broke even. They haven't lost money on it, which is what I thought what Tarzan was going to do. I thought it was going to be similar.
So I'd say that's a pleasant surprise, but not enough to call a success.
I would say success, but not blockbuster or like you can call it as a blockbuster because it overperformed its budget quadruple times.
It's not going to ruin David Yates' career. Oh wait a second. He's doing Harry Potter. Never mind.
Well, technically, he's doing Fantastic Beasts, which is a
but Fantastic Beasts. Sorry, pardon my French.
But yeah, we've just to point out the sequels. I mean, yeah, you got Independence Day Resurgence. It grossed $102 million, which is way below the first Independence Day, which grossed over $300 million back in 1996. I would say The Conjuring 2 was a success. It was just under the first one, but it still grossed $100.
Yeah, but that was a good movie.
That's a success for a sequel. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, $82 million compared to the first one's $190 million. Alice Through the Looking Glass, $77 million. The first one grossed over $330 million. Now You See Me 2 grossed $65 million. I'm pretty sure Now You See Me grossed over $100 million in America, the first one. And, you know, we've got Ice Age Collision Course, which grossed $62 million so far in America. And also Neighbors 2 was pretty underwhelming too, $55 million. The first one's $149 million. So I'm surprised I know these stuff by heart. But
this summer has been a little bit of a letdown, really. I feel like
they have built brand names.
I feel like the holiday season is also really much more exciting this year than the summer was. I feel like a lot of the biggest movies are being released around Christmas now. Maybe because of the Star Wars, but they kind of predicted Star Wars success last year and released. So it's just there seems to be a shift going on in release dates as well, and a lot of you know the leftover sequels or whatever, or most cases. Maybe there's a few that still like Captain America who still occupy traditional dates, but things like Sorority Rising, Neighbors 2, whatever that was, that kind of sequel isn't what I expect from, you know, a 2016 summer full of exciting, fantastic tentpoles like we had in 2014 and 15. You know, we had some exciting tentpoles there, and I just don't feel like there was anything. Star Trek I was excited for, you know, Jason Bourne, you know, but there was not really anything that stuck out, and that's probably why Suicide Squad made so much money, is because it was the closest thing that you could get to an exciting summer blockbuster in the middle of summer. So it's interesting. Is it the programming that's failed, or is it the audiences? That's the question.
I would say sometimes programming would be for Disney. You have the BFG, which opened 2 weeks after Dory. Probably the huge misstep there for Disney to do that.
Could also be the marketing. That's the third thing that could be wrong as well.
Like I feel like maybe the BFG could have been more, maybe September, October, when there's like nothing hardly coming out.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thing. I think that there's something being wrong with the whole schedule for this year.
Yeah. Trying to look at other films where I'm not. The Nice Guys. Oh man, I love The Nice Guys. It's one of my favorite films of this year. But it's just, why did Warner Bros. Put it in the summer? It could have been a September film. It could have been
Exactly. Think of The Martian last year. The Martian last year was in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And it was a massive hit. That's those 2 months. That's where you get the kind of the awardsy, but still higher budget, maybe kind of the mix between awards season.
The Martian wasn't that big of a risk put in October because we knew from Gravity in 2013 that you could release.
True, that's kind of tradition now, isn't it?
In October.
Yeah.
So I feel like Gravity was probably more of a risk for Warner Bros. There, which turned out a massive hit for them.
Yeah, I know that was a risk in hindsight. It seems stupid, but in hindsight, yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly everything I can look at box office wise.
Yeah, but I do think that it doesn't spell. I should just go for. I don't think this actually spells the end of movies or even blockbusters. I feel like 2017, the cinema will rebound, and as soon as good quality films start coming back out again, and sequels maybe start thinning out the unnecessary sequels. You know, the ones that are based on nostalgia and harken back to Jason Bourne, whatever that was, bringing back Independence Day, bringing back all these old things. When they start coming up with new original franchises and blockbusters, that will be how movies will be reborn. And I think 2017 is got to be better than this year. I surely, even if it's not quite the right direction just yet.
Yeah, we will see. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, everybody. If you have basically like a topic of interest, anything movie related questions, leave it in the comments below and we could do it in our next video, whenever that will be.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can like us on Facebook. Just type in Everything Film on Facebook. We're basically the first one that comes up. So yeah, you can like us there. We have reviews, news, and occasionally trivia. And and you can also follow our WordPress website at everythingfilmreviews.wordpress.com, where we put our reviews and news and all that there. And you can also follow it so you can get it through your emails if you don't want to follow us on Facebook. And yeah, that's all I can think of off the top of my head. Reviews wise, well, The Shadows came out yesterday. Next week is what's next week? Next week is, I think, Don't Breathe. I don't know why I'm seeing that horror movie, but I am.
It's supposed to be good.
And yeah, it's really good. But I heard it's also pretty it's pretty intense. And Nerve is also what I'm going to be checking out this week too. So look out for a review for that on the weekend as well. So that is all. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time, whenever that will be.
All right, until next time.